Okay, excellent. Thank you, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Claire Fincham. I'm a director of ASCEA, and it's my honor and privilege to be co-hosting this webinar this afternoon with fellow director Liesl de Wet. We have just completed our third year of the ASCEA Awards. And for those who are not familiar with the Africa Supply Chain Excellence Awards, it was started by Liesl in 2021, really to celebrate organizations excelling in supply chain management across Africa and to highlight excellent supply chains that organizations and operations and projects that have been happening across the continent. We've had a very successful run over the last 3 years. We've had over 200 entries in the over the last 3 years. We've had over 50 finalists and winners, and we're really very proud of the stakeholders, the directors, the amazing judges, and of course the wonderful entries that we have received over the last few years. Connor's put something in the chat, but just to remind you that we will be taking questions and discussion points at the end in the last 15 to 10 minutes of the webinar. So please make notes of your questions both to Patricia and to Recky, and then we will take them at the end, and Liesl will manage that. So you can put them in the chat or the question and answer buttons. We have 2 entries highlighted this afternoon because it was a joint winning entries in the training and talent category, and I'm going to introduce them both. We're going to start with Patricia. She is from BBOpEx Solutions, and she's a dynamic leader in business administration and operations. She has a wealth of experience managing personnel and leading project management initiatives. She excels in soft skills training and governance. At BBOpEx, Sibongile Patricia plays a pivotal role in catalytic project management. Her strategic insights and dedications drives efficiency and innovation, making her an invaluable asset. You're welcome to connect with her on LinkedIn if you want to hear more about what they do at this amazing organizations, and you can see more insights into her professional journey. So we'll hear from Patricia first, but I'm going to just take the opportunity now to introduce you to Recky, Awino. She is a champion of gender mainstreaming and empowerment. She's a dedicated advocate for gender mainstreaming with over 15 years of experience in women's and youth empowerment. As team lead for the award-winning Girls on the Move program at Pamela Steele Associates from 2022 to now, she successfully implemented the Girls on the Move pilot project, recruiting and training young women while forging vital partnerships. She's also founded the Lawangale, I hope I pronounced that correctly, Recky, community-based organization, which is leading initiatives in sexual and reproductive health, women's business support, and education for 250 children. She really is amazing, and her expertise drives impactful change towards gender equality. She's based in Kenya, so she's an hour ahead of us, and I'd like to just take this opportunity to thank them both for their time and preparation, in entering the awards in the first place, and going through that process and their time this afternoon. So over to you, Patricia, if you're ready to start. Thank you so much.
I am, Claire. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope everyone is fine. I mean, I was saying to Recky the other day, I'm like, our weather in South Africa is a bit weird for us. Like, we're just going through the most. We have probably, I think, all the seasons in 1 week, and that's a bit awkward for us. But yeah, I hope everyone is well. And my name is Patricia Mazibuko, as Claire has said, and today I'm coming on board as BBOpEx Solutions Client Services. I am in charge, or responsible rather, for the PR and communications, the marketing and project management in BBOpEx. And today I'm just going to be walking you through the project that won us the Talent and Training Management Category Award. And that was a project to uplift women in Africa whilst helping close the supply chain talent gap. We worked with adolescent young girls just to bring them on in supply chain learning and an employment initiative. Now, you are probably wondering, who is BBOpEx? And I'm here to walk you through all of that. BBOpEx is basically built to improve the overall business efficiencies by engaging people and aligning systems into processes to bring value to the client. And we do that through our catalytic impact project management, accredited fit-for-purpose workforce development, operational excellence, change management, and transformational coaching. Now, when BBOpEx takes care of the organization, it works in partnership with Return to Self. Issue-driven, solution-focused, and results-based. So whilst BBOpEx will take care of the entity, Return to Self basically takes care of the persons in the organization. And our programs in Return to Self are number one, Return to Self, You versus You, which is meant to unshackle the power within yourself, and of course, the high impact mentoring program. Our coaching services include one-on-one leadership coaching and group coaching, which is where the project was then imparted. Now, back to the project. What went down? How did it go about? Now, the Association of the Supply Chain Management Foundation worked in collaboration with the US President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, PEPFAR rather, through the DREAM Initiative. This was meant to develop and implement an initiative to help more young women in the sub-Saharan Africa gain the requisite skills to compete for high quality, good paying jobs by providing young women with training in essential supply chain management skills with the goal to help them access employment, achieve economic independence, which is obviously key to ensuring that they remain independent and are supported in staying HIV free. We all know the pandemic in and around Africa, with young women being dependent on males. And the stats at this point reported that women are 14 times more likely to become infected with HIV compared to their male counterparts. So this initiative assisted quite a lot in ensuring that we protect women and we allow them the choice to choose about their lives, about their future, where they want to go. Because as you would know, for the fellow women in the group, if you are dependent on family members or male counterparts, they kind of control where you go about and how you do things. So ensuring that women could now be employed and have a set of income, they then are in charge of their lives and they control who and when and how they get sexually involved. Now, walking you through to our project partners. Our partners included the Association of Supply Chain, which is known as the ASCM, which is a global leader in supply chain organizational transformation, innovation, and leadership. And they developed and implemented this project alongside the DREAMS initiative, which provided a comprehensive multi-sectoral package of core interventions to address key factors that make girls and young women particularly vulnerable to HIV. And we did this alongside the PEPFAR, which you may know as the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief in the United States. And it's the largest commitment by any nation to address a single disease in history, enabled by strong bipartisan support across the US Congress and 4 presidential administrations through the American people's generosity. And of course, we then came on board as BBOpEx Solution, being the ASCM accredited consulting partner and premier education partner, offering APEX certification, training, and consulting. BBOpEx offered excellence in catalytic impact project management, and the capability building across the industry verticals. Now I'll take you through the background of the whole system. Despite the substantial declines in the new infections of HIV globally, HIV remains a pandemic in our continent, right? Which has impacted adolescent girls and young women in many countries. In sub-Saharan Africa, 67%, or an estimated 280,000 of new infections are reported in young people annually. Now, DREAMS has provided a comprehensive multisectoral package of core interventions to address these key factors that make young girls and women particularly vulnerable to HIV. And these include structural factors such as gender-based violence, exclusion from economic opportunities, and the lack of access to secondary schooling. And this is why we have then opted to work with adolescent girls and young women, because the data released on World AIDS Day in 2020 showed that new HIV diagnoses amongst adolescent girls and young women have declined in all the geographic areas where the DREAMS initiative was implemented, which then makes it 96%, of which we have a decline of greater than 25%, and nearly two-thirds, 62%, of which have declined. So we are making good progress in terms of impacting the lives of these young women and changing their way to go in life and choosing how they do things. What was our objective primarily? To transform lives of young girls and young women across the African populations, which are mostly affected by HIV and AIDS. And of course, provide entry-level roles, which include full-time employment, temporary employment, apprenticeships, learnerships, and internships, etc. But more than anything, just to give them access and exposure in supply chain in general. And of course, to connect each student with a professional in the community of the Association of Supply Chain Management, allowing them to then get mentors, to then get coaches, so that as they build their career, they have someone that they can talk to. And our last objective was to work to build a sustained capacity of local trainers and mentors, leveraging on the Association of Supply Chain Management train the trainee model. Now we're going to move on to our program deployment, which was the most interesting part of it all. Connecting the government and industry-supported economic development agencies. This for us was so interesting. Similar to the American Chamber of Commerce South Africa and the South African Chamber of Commerce Industry, the agencies can serve as a platform for corporate engagement and collaboration. We also utilize the ASCM's corporate members and to identify the agencies. We met with each candidate company to validate the content and the structured approach of the workforce development program and conducted surveys and interviews with potential hiring members, managers, and HR staff to ensure the alignment with the industry leads. Secure corporate sponsors for each cohort by finalizing the content validation, agree on any configuration changes. We've also partnered with local organizational places that give the education, such as the Dream Partners, providing flexible delivery models, including virtual, face-to-face, and hybrid options, and of course, to set up electronic exam systems and programs, evaluation tools to streamline the assessment. What was the program overview, if you may be wondering? In selecting our participants, we used the TB HIV Care PEPFAR NGO partner based in Cape Town as part of their initiative pillar named Social Protection. And the project overview basically included the orientation process, the introductions with all the people that are involved in the project, ASCM professional membership, onboarding, the setup, and obviously understanding the expectation of the individuals we are adding on board, the course expectations and the outcomes they're in, and obviously the targeted job skills. And this built our essential of supply chain management certificate. This went from topic 1, which focused on the fundamentals of inventory management, topic 2, which introduced our candidates to the manufacturing management, and topic 3, which was an introduction to distribution and logistics. We worked hand in hand with the Kaizen Institute Foundation Learning Model and Certification. And of course, our placement and mentoring sessions were handled by ourselves at BBOpEx. This then led us to such a great outcome. Participants received certificates of completion for the ESCM program, recognizing their successful completion of the training and acquisition of essential supply chain management skills. This led them to be equipped with requisite skills from the program. Participants are now qualified for various roles within the supply chain industry, such as being an operations clerk, demand planning analyst, inventory manager, purchasing manager, and logistics manager. Providing the participants with the ASCM membership offers them an opportunity to network with the supply chain professionals and obviously ask them to be their mentors, their coaches in the region they are based itself. And their focused mentoring provided throughout the program duration assists the participants in preparing the workplace and seeking for employment. The delivery and implementation of this entire project across SA was the most interesting part. BBOpEx played a crucial role as the delivery implementation partner for the project, providing expertise and support throughout the program. 89 young women were trained as part of the project in South Africa, indicating a significant reach and impact within communities targeted by the program. Participants were chosen from their closest dreams districts, a strategic approach of targeting communities with higher vulnerability to HIV and AIDS or other challenges such as poverty. The majority of participants, 39 of them, received training in KwaZulu-Natal, specifically from Umgungundlovu and eThekwini districts, and the remaining 50 young women were from the Eastern Cape and or Tambo municipality, highlighting the program's effort to reach women, or young women rather, across the different regions. In KwaZulu-Natal, 15 young women were successful and placed with companies, and this demonstrates the effectiveness of this program by facilitating employment opportunities for participants and contributing to their economic empowerment and professional development. This to us was so interesting, but I must say there were challenges. As with everything, realistically, nothing ever goes 100% to the T. So we did have our challenges, and of course, addressing the following points will further refine and enhance the effectiveness for our future programs. We do not hide our challenges because we do see them as our learning curves. Now, our challenges were as follows. We had challenges in establishing contact with ASCM corporate members in South Africa. I mean, that requires thorough research and networking, researching and identifying the right corporate networks in South Africa, which is involving the program, determining the type and the volume placement opportunities, which should involve assessments and needs and the preferences of the participants involved, ensuring that the students in the Dreams districts are matched with the corporate placement opportunities that are geographically accessible, requires coordination with all local partners, and employees. And obviously detailing the right budget that includes the course costs, student stipends, and the potential travel and living expenses. We had our own lessons that we had to draw from this entire thing. Obviously, the project must be aligned with SETA, which stands for the Sector of Education and Training Authority. And that on its own, if you've worked with SETA, you understand the bit of a challenge it may be for every entity or organization that I know of. But our lesson learned, we had to define the placement opportunities beforehand, which allows us better planning and allocation of resources, leveraging on all our networks, acknowledging the students who already own businesses and have applied program concept effectively, providing details about the stipends and other financial support. I mean, it helps incentivize the participation, introducing the students to job fairs and networking events in their region to help them explore the potentials of their career path, and leveraging on BEE partner status can provide access to additional funding. The networking platform needed to include both the ASCEA membership community and a relevant community, and aligning the project delivery with grant application dates maximizes the chances of securing additional funding and support from relevant organizations. And of course, some learners weren't able to fully utilize the ASCM membership due to poor signal for their networks because of their geographic places. But what I like about this is that we then charted forward with all the challenges and the lessons learned. We looked at how can we sustain this project. The recognition earned and the skills acquired by the participants are invaluable. And I think you would agree as well that, I mean, it can distinguish all these participants as they progress in their careers. The emphasis on the work readiness mentoring and the confidence building equips participants with practical knowledge and the confidence needed to navigate the job market effectively. The programs focus on expanding participants' mindsets and exploring various opportunities, including entrepreneurship, empowers them to make informed decisions about their future. The sense of accomplishment, I mean, the newfound confidence experienced by these participants have transformed effects not only on their individual development, but also on a broader community. Participants who secured employment became role models within their community, inspiring other young women to pursue education and career opportunities. This program emphasis on training and placement in companies sets the participants on a path towards a long-term sustainability in their careers. And we got testimonies from the different participants that were involved in this. One of them being Sinetemba Msomi, who sent a long email to our company to thank us for the opportunity and show gratitude for what us alongside PEPFAR and ASCM have done for all the ladies in the Dream Chasers group. And of course, we have other testimonies that we can share with you guys, one of them being Tulwana Makubela, who says she's now completed her P1 and P2 and she's gained good results from it. But this then proves that by working together, we can combat the many challenges that primarily the African youth face when it comes to opportunities, unemployment, and entrepreneurship. And BBOpEx was super proud to take on this project as one of the projects that we had to manage alongside Return to Solve. Thank you so much. These are our contact details if you would like to know more about who we are and what we do. I will then await your questions at the end of the session.
We can't hear you, Liesl.
Can't you hear me? Yeah, hold on a second.
Now we can.
Now?
We can.
Oh, now you can. Okay, sorry, it's part of my headset. Right, without further ado, Recky, let's move on to you with Girls on the Move, and hear a little bit more about your project. And then I really hope you guys are coming up with some questions so that we can have a robust discussion at the end of the next presentation. Over to you, Recky. Recky, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Fantastic.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity to come and present to you about Girls on the Move program. My name is Recky Awino, as you've heard, and
We can hear you, Recky.
just a minute. You can still see my presentation?
Yes, we can see your presentation.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Wow. So Girls on the Move was started on a backdrop of United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 5 on gender equality. As we know, all this is significantly off track. The goal of achieving gender equality by 2030 now feels more distant than ever, even further from the realization than when the campaign began in 2016. The socio-economic effect of COVID-19 pandemic have disproportionately affected women. The decent jobs opportunity has shrunk at an alarming rate, and the desperation in women to support their children and their household has made them easy targets for sexual exploitation and mental health challenges when accessing jobs. Greater is the risk for young women, graduates accessing the labor market. The supply chain industry has not been spared either. Girls on the Move was initially started by Pamela Steele Associates with some seed funding from Reproductive Health Coalition, with a mission to introduce girls female graduates to career opportunities in the supply chain sector in Kenya and beyond. We have 3 objectives. Objective 1 is to bridge the supply chain skill gap. Objective 2 is to increase female representation in the supply chain workforce. Objective 3 is to reduce youth unemployment amongst women. We have an ambitious 555 vision. We call it our ambitious scale-up vision, which is to deploy 500 female supply chain graduates in 5 counties within Kenya and 1 new country in 5 years in partnership with Village Reach. This we do due to our values. We value learning, we value diversity, we value accountability. Why girls on the move? Lack of adequately skilled supply chain professionals. In the past, we are all aware that supply chain management was not seen as a separate profession, resulting in lack of specialized skills among those involved in supply chain functions. By matching organizations and companies who lack the supply chain skills they need with young health supply chain professionals, Girls on the Move addresses and fills the critical supply chain skill gap and creates a more sustainable health supply chain workforce. Number two is the underrepresentation of women in the health supply chain sector roles. Women have a unique set of skills, perspective, and knowledge that is frequently missing in the healthcare management and decision-making, including decisions about procurement and distribution of health products. Number three is the high rate of youth unemployment. According to the African Development Bank, 1/3 of African youth are unemployed and discouraged, and another third vulnerably employed. We all agree that young women suffer more and are more vulnerable to unemployment and its repercussion across Africa. Women of all ages experience higher unemployment rate and low labor force. Our scale-up project is going to target 5 counties. That is Kisumu County, Siaya County, Homa Bay County, Migori County, and Nairobi County. These counties have a few disadvantages in common. When you look at the highest rates of youth unemployment, these counties lead. And also new infections of HIV amongst young women. When you talk about teenage pregnancies, early marriages, and a sharp rise in gender-based violence. In Kenya, we are currently experiencing a very high rate of young women being killed, and it is so disheartening. The supply chain industry must be intentional to empower women, both economically and socially, and mentally. This is key to achieving gender equity in the supply chain and ending all the negative vice in our society. Girls on the Move has a unique approach on how it does its empowerment. We have a 6-pack approach. One is an holistic development. This approach acknowledges that individual, comprehensive growth and development are interrelated. Number two, we have tailored curriculum that addresses specific learning needs and interests, striving to provide learning experiences that prepare individuals for the workforce. 3 is the hands-on experience, opportunity to apply their knowledge and skills while actively participating in the work environment or programs, thereby further developing critical thinking skills and gaining deeper experiences. 4 is our continuous learning. We harness intellectual curiosity and a desire to continuously acquire new skills. 5 is the personalized support. We are cognizant that strengths and weaknesses of each trainee varies. And so it is imperative to provide unique individualized experiences, allowing learning to become more relevant, engaging, and effective. Number 6 is gender empowerment. We all agree that advancing gender equality is pivotal to all aspects of a thriving society, from poverty reduction to promoting health, education, protection, and well-being of both girls and boys. Girls on the Move champions 5 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Goal number 1, no poverty, as we empower each individual to at individual level, household level, and community level. Goal number 3, good health and well-being. Goal number 4, which is quality education. Goal number 5, gender equality. And goal number 8, decent work and economic growth, both at individual level, household, and community level. We have a roadmap from start to finish, where one is the onboarding, where we do the recruiting and the onboarding. 2 is skill development, certification. This is where they get certified as health supply chain management, a course offered by Pamela Steele Associates. 3 is the practical experience. This is where they go for internship and project assignments. 4, we have mentorship and networking. 5, we have employment and career development. At this stage, we do the job placement, support, and continued professional development. 6, we have alumni network and continuous development. Our first cohort highlights, and if we look at that project at a glance, we had 36 interns. We had 10 employers, 8 months of internship. This changed after we got feedback from the employers themselves and the girls, whereby they said having 1 year as an experience in your CV carries much waters than 8 months. So the program changed to 1 year. We had 24 employed immediately after finishing their internship. And our retention rate at the places of their internship was 60%. When we look at the departments where they were working, we find that the supply chain department in medical and pharmaceutical supplies had 53%, hospitality and hotels had 16%, public and private hospital had 13%, consultancy had 14%, and chemical supplies had 2%. We have impact stories. As we can see, this is a picture of our girls during the internship period when they were coming back for bi-monthly trainings. And Margaret has this to share. At Girls on the Move, we found a safe haven. We found a place where we could gain experience and begin our professional journey. Today, I'm employed at Mission for Essential Drugs and Supplies, Nairobi. I'm not alone. Many of the girls have secured jobs and others are close to finding one. And I'm here to report that Margaret pioneered the implementation and the development of procurement policy at Mission for Essential Drug. Doing that as an intern will tell you the caliber of girls that we train at Girls on the Move. And not only that, we had feedbacks from employers. And we had a feedback from St. Jairus Hospital, where the administrator said, the program has awakened our organization to the value of having a supply chain department and a professional supply chain personnel to manage it. We had Mercy. Mercy is special because Mercy, in this picture, she's receiving the Employee of the Month award in the organization that she was interning in and later got employed. And Mercy gave us a very good feedback where she was now able to support her mother who was suffering from cancer, being a single mother, and Mercy being the firstborn. Now she was able to earn money and support her mother during crisis seasons. And that meant a lot to Mercy. Here, the next we have Chelsea. Chelsea says, after graduation, I began to fall into depression. I was terrified. I had a degree in procurement and logistics management, but I didn't know what I was getting myself into. When I joined Girls on the Move, my career path didn't seem as depressing anymore. And for this, I will always be grateful. Thank you, Pam and team. Chelsea is a procurement officer at Kenya Revenue Authority, and she is doing great. And those are some of the reviews that we got. Yes, as every program is, there were challenges we experienced. The project initially planned for the pilot to be in Kisumu, but it extended to Nairobi, and this came at an additional cost that were not planned. Some organizations asked for fees for girls to gain experience in their organizations. That was not budgeted for. We came to realize that host of employers wanted all the interns to be covered under the work injury benefits. That was not covered in the budget. And so we had to go an extra mile. And again, we realized the hospitality sector didn't have a robust supply chain department. And so those who interned with the hospitality industry didn't gain a robust experience as the rest. The project had budgeted for 5 days per week, but most interns were working 6 days per week. Our scale-up implementation plan. At the moment, Girls on the Move is unfunded and requires a financial support to achieve these goals. But we have the goals in place anyway, even as we send out a call applications for proposals. We have planned that year 1, we will replicate it in Kenya. Year 2, we will scale up and create standard operating procedures. Year 3, we'll scale up in Kenya and replicate in 1 additional country. Year 4, we will scale up in Kenya and 1 new country. And year 5, we'll do the evaluation and in Kenya and in new country. Sponsorship model. The sponsorship covers training. This includes the health supply chain management certification to enhance their employability. It covers monthly stipend, which covers daily transport, lunches, women's upkeep kits. We have skill and competency development. We are reaching out to corporate sponsorship packages, corporates that their corporate social responsibility goals relate to gender equality and education and health are welcome to partner with Girls on the Move program. We also call for individual sponsorship, and I'm here to share that we have 3 interns at the moment. This is Dana, Vanis, and Perez. We're lucky to be sponsored by an individual to carry out, to undertake this ambitious program. Yes, we need partners. And Girls on the Move is here to grow and to stay. When we asked the girls to just give us 1 word to describe Girls on the Move, we got words in this picture. We have words like a path, a career path. We had empowerment. We had so many good words for the program. It gives them purpose. It gives them, it was really empowering for them. That is the Girls on the Move on their graduation day when they receive their certificates. And we are grateful and thankful. Thank you and asanteni sana.
Fantastic, Recky. I've always loved this entry and what you guys are doing with Girls on the Move. It's really an incredible program. And I think a question to both you and Patricia. Maybe Patricia will start with you and then move on to Recky. What do you, so as a mom of a young lady also planning on entering into the workforce, she's studying at the moment, I think a lot of support is required and assistance to sort of bridge that gap from sort of post studying for something and then getting into the working environment. What do you think? How do we accelerate this and get more women into the supply chain industry? And what is the one big challenge that you think if we could overcome this challenge, it will accelerate these kind of programs and allow for adoption and on a wider scale?
I think on my end, it's a matter of perception first, to just change the perception that this industry is just for males. Um, you know how many women have just gone into the more floral careers where there's pink and flowers and all of that, and this one has more solid, firm colors, and that is why I'm just starting with the perception. I think how we view the industry itself is what we need to get over, because the minute you see it as it's just for boys, then you are saying to a girl child, you won't survive there, you won't manage. Yet it's so interesting because what females can actually contribute effectively to the industry itself. So I think just changing the mindset and the perception of how we understand the supply chain industry holistically, for my end, is the biggest stumbling block, because the minute our mindset changes, then we can get a whole lot more females interested in building a career in supply chain.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually seen it on the driver's side of things, when we've got a few female drivers in and they're doing phenomenally well. I mean, we even had on the company that I work for, Unitrans, we had the female driver who won the driver of the year, trucker of the year, and she's done so phenomenally well. So, definitely, and that was a big sort of perception around how do you get women now driving trucks, and they do it so very well. Recky, any thoughts on your side on this?
Yes, I would love to echo and point out that the training in our colleges is more theory. And the girls come out of there lacking the soft skills that is needed to enter the job market. Yeah. When I talk about soft skills, I talk about confidence, I talk about communication, emotional intelligence. And so you realize that for them to express themselves even when they go for an interview is a challenge. And so they need that, just something to push them that, yes, you can do it. Yes, they need more of that. Yes. And so that should be done more for the girls. I don't know why girls are normally shy they're a bit of laid back than our boys who are out there and go for it and all that. But we need to do more for the girls.
And when you say do more, what does do more look like in terms of getting these programs sort of more adopted on a wider scale?
I think if we all embrace that, as they come in from the colleges, they need somebody to nurture them, somebody to mentor them, somebody to show them the way. And when I look at some of the girls on the move, just that interaction of 8 months, and somebody can go to an organization and tell them that we need a procurement policy. To me, that is empowerment. And so more of that should be done to the girls to get empowered.
No, I agree 100%. Is there any questions? Does anyone want to ask a question? If you want to raise your hand and ask a question from the audience, or drop something in the chat. Just give you a little bit. Patricia, any closing comments from you?
Yes, I mean, I just think, Recky just said something so important, to say we should get more mentors and coaches that come on board and hold our hands through as females, you know. And obviously the importance of gaining soft skills to kind of encourage the girls. You spoke about having a driver. I think when we get to a point where we can encourage girls to take on a challenge, because I think because we are taught to be a bit softer, then we don't take on such big challenges. So maybe we should sell taking on a challenge as part of a deal. Like imagine yourself taking on such a great challenge and driving such a big truck, you know, or working in such a big industry. How well can you do? I think when we can put that into place and say, have mentors, have coaches that then stand as role models for girls to take on such big challenges, that for me would be the ideal, because I think the best way to change someone's mindset is to show them someone that's doing it. The minute I have a relatability, it's easy for me to get over whatever stumbling block stays in my mind, because I'm like, I can see someone that's just like me, that's doing it on a daily. So definitely mentorship, coaching, and soft skills, that should be where we invest so much of our time when it comes to girls, and we should be good to go.
Fantastic. Recky, closing comments from you?
I agree with Patricia fully, and she has echoed the most important thing that we need to do going forward. And I think as employers, most of us are employers, we should embrace these girls when they come in and just, you know, be there to coach them and to encourage them. To me, when we open our doors and embrace them and not, you know, I know, yes, business are there to make profits, but let us leave room to do empowerment to those that join our organization. And 3 years down the line, we can look back and say, yes, we gave something back to our girls. To me, that is very important.
I'm also thinking, because I'm looking at both you two, both powerhouses, both phenomenal programs, of potentially like cross-country collaboration. I mean, there's very similar learnings from both of your stories. I mean, so much so that, you know, both joint winners. But I think cross-collaboration and countrywide would also be quite interesting, you know, to understand the operating environment in Nigeria, understand South Africa. I'm sure there are similarities and also learnings that we could pull off each other, which I think would be really beneficial and great. And I'm, for one, putting my hand up. I'm very happy to address the girls at any point, talk, share insights, you know, what we're doing, as well as discuss the awards with them and talk to them about industry related. I mean, I've been in this industry since 2007, I think. It's a very long time, but you know, I'm just so inspired by what you guys do, and honestly, I'm very happy to be one to put my hand up and say happy to address the girls at any point to discuss with them. So Recky, Patricia, thank you so very much for your time and your amazing contributions and programs, and keep up the good work. I think it's so important for our future workforce, and as you mentioned, it's linking into the SDGs, which is really great, and so we really need that. And just a reminder to everybody, you know, the Africa Supply Chain Awards is there exactly to highlight this kind of projects that are running in Africa. It's Africa best practice. It's what we're doing. You know, we in a continent that is difficult. We have our own challenges, and how do we shine the spotlight on these amazing programs that are occurring? And we're really looking forward to the next awards cycle, which is now coming up. We're opening up for entries on the 1st of November. And I'd really like to encourage you to enter, or encourage colleagues to enter, or any other worthy projects that you may think of, and be part of sharing your story out there. And so I think, Claire, I don't know if you have anything else to add, but that ties up our webinar for today. And just a warm thank you to everybody. Thank you, Claire and Connor, for the back end work. And thanks, Patricia and Recky, for your presentations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. And I'm serious.
Enjoy your day.
Patricia, Recky, I'm here.
We'll keep you
Patricia.
as a mentor.
100%.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you very much, everybody. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Liesel.
Thanks, Claire.
I'll stop the recording, Con. Thank you.